the ISTE Standards Showcase. My name is Staci Bentley. I am a third grade teacher, reading, language arts, and social studies here at Windsor. I've been a Windsor Knight on this campus for 13 years, and then previously taught first, second, fifth in reading recovery at another campus. Even back in '98, when I first started, I just jumped on technology of any kind. And have always been fascinated with it, and see the kids get excited and are engaged. And so it is just a passion of mine using that in the classroom. Today I'm going to show the design, the facilitate, and the analyze part of the ISTE standards and how I've applied those in my blended learning classroom. And I've put in a goods and services lesson from social studies, just to kind of share what it looks like on what I've done within the past weeks of going through the advanced learning class. The designer part of the ISTE standards, I looked at making a student tracker board and a choice board. These aren't my originals. These are ones that I used as copies from our DI module that was in our the modules. The first one that I went with was just the tracker, so that the students could start learning how to pace themselves and use choice in their assignments. And I taught them how to follow the flow, the path, and work at their own pace. This is the first one that I used in the classroom. And then at the end, when they were able to go through, reach their goals, then they were able to move to the choice board over here. And so the way that this worked, though, is I found that I was still getting in there a little more than I wanted to on telling them, you're going to do this one, and no, this one, this group's going to do this one. And I had everybody doing some of the must do's, and then some were doing the may do's, and a couple were able to get to the challenge, which was the choice board. And so did that just, let me ask, did that just take you to another screen now? Can you see? Oh, perfect. Okay. And so I went in there and I put in the hyperlinks and thought, okay, this is going to start being a way that the kids can be more interactive, and I can step away from it. However, I felt like I was still facilitating more than jumping in, more than just being a facilitator in it. And so I uploaded it into our learning management system, which is Canvas for us. And then the students would go in and take off with it, and they loved it. Even something like this, they just jumped on it. It looks like a game board, and that was enough for them to be excited about it and to just jump in with both feet. I added a timer for them so that they could kind of pace themselves when we were in our reading time and social studies each day. I do throw social studies into my reading. I love social studies, and it's such a great place to get in my informational text for reading. And so they know that this was something that they were working on throughout the week during reading time. And so I thought, okay, they have an idea and they have a pace of how to follow it. And then they had the choice board that they could use as just student choice, and it tied into the reading as well. I didn't put hyperlinks here. I just gave them the hyperlink to the reading Padlet, and then they know that all of those are on there. And they had to try to get 3 in a row. They could turn it in for what we call a high five privilege card, very similar to what you do, Rachel, with your incentive cards. And again, they loved it. And so I thought, oh my goodness, something so simple and so easy for me to create and to be able to go in and navigate and change and drive, just brought the kids so much excitement, engagement. And I mean, they were asking, what's next? What's next? And so from that, I thought, okay, the designer in me is feeling brave. And so I thought, I'm going to step off into another direction with this and see if I can make it more differentiated on their abilities within the content. And so that's when I decided to go into learning the Canvas mastery paths as a facilitator. And I thought, okay, this is the direction that I need to be going to make sure that the students are getting what they need on their level in the direction of their own, of the content on their level. And so again, I went into Canvas, and with my tech support, which just like Rachel said, I couldn't do it without them. They are just wonderful and always willing to come out and support and help and show. And so they knew I was pumped up about this course we're taking. And so I said, what can I do next? And of course, Mastery Paths was what they said. That's the direction you're going to want to go for this. So the DI allows for me to be able to be more of a facilitator, step back, and the students really are going through their path of learning on that content, And so the first one that I chose was in the mastery path. Of course, there's the pre-test, and that sets them in their directions. Some of the activities that I chose for this assignment was using quizzes, and there's a brain pop in here, a class kick. Google Docs was for their write about it, and then they did the discovery learning, and then they still had their choice board at the end. Okay. And so they were still able to do that. I did put a hyperlink of just some other possibilities to use. Book it. They love to book it. Again, the quizzes with and Nearpod is one that I used a lot last year. And so I thought, okay, this is a place where I can get in some more of the Nearpod lessons and activities as well. And then the Google Slides, of course, for any of their writing. That's just so simple to put that in there for them. And they can choose to do it in their journal, or they can choose to do it on their slides. And then the docs. And so those were some other ideas that I thought, okay, I'll start pulling from there. What I did go ahead and do as on their part for their mastery pass was labeling it, so I would kind of know where the students were, which students are doing what, because it did get a little hairy in the beginning with me trying to know where has everybody gone in their path. And so I would have my Chromebook set up and kind of be following along on that at my horseshoe table, so I would know who was meeting with me next. And then the emoji idea was suggested, and I was like, oh, I love it. How simple is that? So I stuck in the emojis. The book is just my way of knowing these students are going to be that tier 3 is how I kind of think in my head. They're coming to me on that on the pre-test. And then the target, those are my tier 1, and then or excuse me, the tier 1 and are the ones that have it, and then the ones that are more of an enrichment because they've mastered it. And so that has been so much easier for me to facilitate on my side. And the kids just think that they're cute little icons there for the emojis. Mm-hmm. And from there, the other part of the facilitator part of the mastery pass that I loved is the fact that I can put in there where the students need to go, which students need extra practice, which ones need enrichment, which one needs that supplementation, which one needs me more, which one just needs me to check in with them. And the breakdown helps me to be able to see exactly where my students are, which students are working in which area, how many students I can expect to come and see me. I'm sorry, Rachel, did you say?
No, sorry.
Oh, okay. Which students I know are coming my way, which students I know to be looking for the enrichment. And it just gives the students the opportunity to explore and to practice and to be able to work on some extension projects as well. Allows me to be able to meet in small group with those students. And it also is very specific to the objective, because some of my tier 3 students are high in some content areas. And so this feels right for me to be reaching out to them on their level of where their understanding is with that specific concept. Because a child that may not grasp a certain concept in one area may be very strong in the other. And so this gives them that freedom to have that. Here is the actual layout that is in the Canvas course. Showing you just, the modules there, everything's there. And then I just go in and assign it to which path I want them to be on. So that was nice to be able to have that to do as well. One that I just was impressed with, the enrichment, the kiddos that were in the enrichment were able to go in and write about if they were a dollar bill traveling. And again, they loved it. Something so easy for me to create, just sitting there on my couch at home, being able to put it together, and they loved it. They were engaged. It crossed over the curriculum from social studies to writing. They were able to share it. Our next step is I want them to be able to voice over it. And so I'm looking at a couple of different areas for them to do that so that they can share their stories with the other students. So again, engagement and just attentiveness and learning's happening. And I'm able to step out and be more of a facilitator in that respect. And then the analysis part of our SD standards is that they also have a TEKS analysis and a reflection sheet that they do, and they keep that in their little goals folder. And so each student will track their own growth, and that helps them to take ownership of their progress, of course. The tracker also has a reflection part, and for them, it helps them to see what they need to grow in and what they can still be, what they're proud of and to glow in, excuse me. For me, it lets me know which students are needing enrichment and which students are needing the reteach of it. And so the students color code their correct or incorrect or even partial answers. And then from there, we sit down and we look at the questions that are guided at the top, and we have a quick discussion in small group. I call them over and we have a little bit of a conference, and we just talk about what is it that you noticed here, what could you have done differently, and what can you do next time. And then the students do their glow and grow at the bottom for a reflection of what they've learned. And then again, the glow is what they're proud that they did. What are you proud of that you did? And I'm not talking, did you make a 100? I'm saying, what are you proud of with your learning? That was something that we had to talk about, because I made an A, I made a 100, and I said, we're going away from the grade. Let's look at what are you glowing about that you learned that you didn't know last week? Something that you struggled with that now you know that you could reteach it to another student or a little student. And then the area to grow in again is just, what's something that you feel like you could do differently, that you could expand on, something that you think, oh, I didn't understand it this time, but now I have that strategy to be able to do it. And right now it is in a handout form, but I'm kind of visioning that I could put that into a Google form. And if I put that into a Google form, then that would be something easy for me just to put into their Canvas. And it would give me something to be able to continue tracking and to be able to see where their thoughts are and what their growth is in that respect. And so that's all three of the ones that I chose out of the standards to focus on. And at this point, that is all of my sharing. But Rachel, if you have any thoughts or questions or something that you even suggest that you're thinking, man, you could do this and that, I would love to hear them.
Thank you, Staci. Yeah,
Wow.
go ahead,
I was
Rachel.
gonna say, I'm gonna let Jackie and Kelly talk. I have some things.
Well, Staci, excellent work for sure. Again, I love your enthusiasm. You're doing some really great things. Those mastery paths that you've created, I know they're not easy. I know they take a lot of work, but wow, they really take differentiation to a whole nother level. So those are amazing. I think I need to somehow integrate those into one of the activities in the blended learning courses, but I haven't quite figured out how to do it yet. But you have provided even more inspiration for me to do this. So thank you very much, and keep up the great work.
Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Wow. I was going to say the same thing. That mastery path on Canvas. Wow. I mean, I personally am not like the Canvas person to go to on the campus. I'm the Seesaw person to go to. I mean, that is impressive. I love the icons you used. That was incredible. And I can tell that the way it's organized, that your students have a nice, safe and friendly way to navigate through Canvas. That's incredible. And I think that's my biggest worry with Canvas is that I want it to be friendly. And so I think you found a really good way to do that. I need you to show me.
Oh, well, thank you. Well, last year, come September, I was told you're going virtual half a day. So that helped me to jump in feet first on knowing that okay, I'm gonna have to have some things under my belt and some things under control. And so yeah, that gave me a year of getting familiar with Canvas.
Yeah, that's awesome. We have a lot in common. I was a virtual half day in person last year as well.
Yes, that's exactly what I was last year
A
as
little
well.
tough there. It was a little tough, but I learned a lot, and that blended learning definitely helped with that. I was just going to comment on the game piece looking and the choice board, and then your glow and grow self-reflection. Those are all like brilliant. I love them.
Well, thank you.
Well, both of you are a testament to Amarillo ISD. Thank you so much for your participation. And y'all, I love how you're sharing the support you get from others in the district. And I don't know if you know, we've had over 400 participants in this course from Amarillo. So thank you so much for sharing today.